Hello, good morning. Good morning. It is 9:30 in the morning, and I got off work just a few hours ago. Rocking the thing. I got a little bit of a setup difference. See, my computer chair's over here. It's also really busted. I need a new one, so I'm using this other chair that was in the room. Obviously now I've moved the desk over here, so it's not over there anymore. So you can see I did a lot of cleaning in the office too. So I reorganized here on my vacation. So I did do a little bit of work. And I am going to do more on the pitch thing. I actually have one of those planned. But I had to do this video first. Because I'm on vacation. Let me have some Polar Express real quick. Orange vanilla, guys. It's like a creamsicle. It's really good for seltzer. Alright. Anyway, they are not my sponsor, just so you know. Anyway, I had the misfortune of watching I Know What You Did Last Summer, the series, over my vacation. And this will be my ranting thoughts. Full spoilers ahead for anyone who gives a shit. It's actually been out for like a year, so yeah. If you haven't watched it, don't. Well, going into it, I already had heard, my friend had said it was pretty bad, but I didn't know exactly how bad it was. So I'm like, all right. I couldn't find anything else. I was scrolling Amazon. I'm like, I've already watched that. I don't feel like watching that. I don't want to get into that. I need something stupid that I can watch. Because I watched this other slasher on there that was kind of stupid, but this was far worse. I would compare it to, if anyone saw The Mist, the series that was out. I forget what channel it was on. I think it was on Sci-Fi. That was based off the Stephen King novel. I didn't really like the movie that much. But man, did that series, it was just so wrong on so many levels. Like, they just had, like, gratuitous sex, which, whatever. I don't care about the sex or nudity, whatever. But just sometimes it's kind of like, okay, can we back to the story now? That's fine, little sex here and there. But, like, we don't need to see every character having fucking sex. We're not that invested in these characters to even give a shit about their relationships. And then there was this one kid who was, I think the character was non-binary. But he was leaning more in, interested in males. And he had a whole thing with this football player and all that stuff. Which, all right, whatever. But, then you find out that this girl, who was his best friend, was supposedly raped by this football player. But it turns out that he actually drugged her and raped her, which I'm just like, what the who wrote this crap? I'm glad it was canceled. And I'm glad this was canceled, too. So I don't know if there's anything as extreme in that level on this show, but it's pretty bad. Let's just start off with the basic how it starts. So this one, we start with this one main character. I have all the characters on my phone here, so that I would not be like, what the hell is that character's name? Like I am with the pitches. All right. So there are twin sisters, Lennon and Allison. What? Who's messaging me? Not at this moment. Anyway, so Madison's kind of the shy, outcasty, quiet, and then, whereas Lennon's the more popular girl, she's a party girl, all this stuff. And they're twins. Okay, so we find out a little bit about that, but at first we're just seeing one of them, and it's not really determined, as much as I can remember, at that very moment, which one she is, or, what happened to the other one. You figure, your sister's in town. Okay, cool. But so anyway, she opens her closet and there's like a donkey head in there or something like that. And it says, I know you did last summer. I'm like, okay. Starting off promising. But then it all went downhill. So we kind of go to a flashback to the previous year. And we see that both Madison and Lennon are at this party. Lennon's dancing with this other girl. What's her goddamn name? What is her goddamn name? No, it's right here. Margot. And Margot is one of these self-obsessed TikTok people or social media influencer people. I recognize the actress. She was on that Light as a Feather show. I did like that show on Hulu. She was good on there. There's nothing wrong with the actress. Most of the acting on here wasn't too bad. There's not a lot of people that you recognize unless you've seen them on other things. She's the only one I recognize that I've actually seen and stuff. But she's not a bad actress. But her character, oh boy. And then we have another guy. Let's see. We have Riley, and we have Dylan, and then we have Johnny. And Johnny's football player. He's gay. He's having an affair with the football coach who's married. It's a weird little dynamic there. Doesn't really go far there. But it's there, whatever. And they're at this kind of graduation party. And Dylan is this kind of guy that he hangs out with this Riley girl who's clearly into him, but he's kind of oblivious. He's kind of in that friend zone-y thing. And, so we kind of figured that in there. And then basically, Madison? Wait, Ashley. Is it Ashley? God damn it. Have a look at it. The phone keeps ringing up. Dylan, Riley, Allison. I'm Ashley Allison. It's an A word. All right, so Allison is really shy, but she's really been into Dylan for a long time, and her sister keeps saying, you should hook up with him. You should go up with him. And then her sister hooks up with him instead, just to be a bitch. So already you're like, okay, this London girl's a bitch. And anyway, so they have a big fight. She says, Mom didn't care about you. Mom's horrible, all this stuff. And then they storm out. Now, at the beginning, it makes you figure that it's Allison that's walking. And what happens is that, they're all driving, they get distracted, and then they hit Allison with their fucking car. And then, she's fucking dead. So kind of just like the movie, they hit the fisherman and then, at first Dylan's like, let's call the cops. Then he's like, oh, we can put her in the cave, and we kind of go in this weird woman there in the cave, and she kind of sees it and sees them doing what they're doing and figuring the things out. And meanwhile, so at first I'm like, okay, this is at least interesting. It's different, but I wasn't necessarily like opposed. Like I liked the first two movies. Okay, they're not great. They're not as good as the Scream series and stuff like that. But but I thought, for what it was at the time, they came out in this way, sort of how Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street all kind of came around each other. I knew this. I know you did last summer. Kind of came out a little after the Scream influence and stuff. So, I liked the Hookman Killer. Okay. But so, I wasn't like totally like opposed to them not having to be the Hookman, because I mean, when you did Scream the series, he wasn't even wearing the original Scream mask until they did that horrible Resurrection show, which we won't talk about. So, it was like, okay, well, let's see what they do with this. This might be, this could be good. This could be interesting. There could be an interesting twist. So later on, we found out that this woman is in a cult and does this weird stuff with the body where she puts bugs in the brain through the ear and then like pours honey on them to cleanse them or something. It's some weird. She's very weird. So everyone pretty much thinks she's a killer for the most part. And meanwhile, then Johnny gets killed along with the coach, who gets choked out by his freaking his weight. He's got like a weight against his neck, and then Johnny pulls it, and then it like basically cuts his head off, and then Johnny gets his head cut off, and it's just very violent scene. So I guess what's the old saying? Bury your what's the old saying? Bury your. I've already forgotten the freaking phrase. But basically it's a thing of kill that gay character off. It's like, you've broken the game. Bury your gays, I guess, would be what it is. Or kill your darlings, I guess is the old saying. Whatever it is. But anyway, that gay character is like the first character killed besides, the sister. So it's like, okay, well, thanks for coming, Johnny. So anyway, the other four actually last the majority of the series. So it's not like the other move for the movie where it's like, okay, Ryan Phillippe gets killed and then Sarah Michelle Gellar gets killed, and her sister gets killed, and Johnny Glucky gets killed. It's more just kind of like, yep, and he's dead, and there's kind of a whole who's doing this, and people are showing up, and there's a whole weird thing. It's all over the place. Meanwhile, Allison, we find out, is actually pretending to be Lennon because her fucking dad told her, no, you should act like Lennon. Why? Why not just say, hey, I'm fucking Allison? You save a lot of fucking trouble. But okay, like if they had just kept that twist to the end, and then maybe she was a killer, hey, maybe we would have had something. That's not the way we go. So anyway, we also have this scene where like the I keep saying Mona. It's not Mona. It's something with an M, isn't it? Margot, that's right. Margot is like all over social media. Her mom's pretty much the most worthless mother in the world. and like she does like I guess it's mabong, but she's just like it's basically like eating thing. It's like eating disorder where you like basically shove food in your mouth on camera. I will not do that here. Thank you very much. Let me have these chips here. But it was like it's like good God, it was disgusting to watch. It would open one of the episodes. Meanwhile, Margot's continually laying out that Dylan's kind of weird. And so, but meanwhile, she's trying to have this relationship. Apparently, she had a relationship with Lennon. And, you know, there's this big lesbian scene that they have in the flashback, which is like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Do what you want with it, but just make it, you know, good. And so, anyway, that goes on. And so Allison is trying to pretend to be Lennon, so she's trying to sort of go with that, even though she's not really, at least at first, not really into it so much, but just kind of trying to play along. And there's a lot of little arguments and blow-ups here and there. And Dylan does act a little creepy, and clearly it's pretty clear that Dylan is connected with this cult thing, because he's the one that suggested they go to the cave, you know. But at the same time, they're trying to look like either him or that other woman is the killer. And if they'd done that, I'd been like, okay, well, kind of predictable, but whatever. But that's not what they do. Also, let me just say, like, we have a cop get killed, who I was already suspecting. He was kind of weird, so I was kind of suspecting, oh, maybe he's the killer. And he just gets killed. And then they kill a chef. This nice Hawaiian, I think he was Hawaiian, chef, who did nothing to anyone, gets fucking killed. And I'm just like, why? He had nothing to do with the story. He wasn't anything to do with the cult. He just gets killed. Why? Why'd you kill that poor guy? He did nothing wrong. He was just there. Why'd you kill him? Justice for that character whose name I don't remember. But he owned the restaurant area. He was the head chef. Why would you kill the chef? What, he serving some bad food? What the hell? Anyway. So there's like a whole lot of back and forth. They find the killer, and I guess Dylan releases her because she stabs the Riley character. This is all over the place. I know this is how I felt watching it. Trying very confusing. What the hell is going on? So Riley gets stabbed. They had gone to this woman's compound. Her mom also gets viciously killed. And some of the kills were okay. Like, they were decent kills. I'll give it that. But, you know, so she's missing. She ends up getting honey all over her and all that stuff. And I don't know if she's dead or not. Had a weird after credit scene that was kind of, I guess, supposed to lead to something. But so there, Dylan's in the cave. He stares at this woman. Then we find her dead. So everyone just figures that she killed everybody, and that's the end of that. So then all that's left at this point, because Riley's now dead, we have worthless dad who's more interested in fucking the chief of police, from behind most of the time. One time in a porta potty. Yes, they're butt fucking in a goddamn porta potty. Anyway. Well, not butt fucking, but from behind. Anyway, I don't know what he was fucking. It could have been the pussy. I don't know. Oh my God, such language. Oh, I'm going to get flagged now. Sorry about that. Anyway, strike that, reverse it. So anyway, but it's a lot of gratuitous sex scenes. Like, did we need this? The original series didn't have these kind of sex scenes in it. I mean, there was more PG-13, but still, like, good God. It's kind of like with Jessica Jones, where, like, I like Jessica Jones. It was a good show, but, like, there were just a few times where, like, and now we're going to have Carrie-Anne Moss's horrible lesbian character have an orgy for no reason. Okay. It's like, whatever. I'm not complaining, but it's just like, okay, whatever. It's just, can we go on with the story, though? This character we don't care about is having an orgy. Okay. But anyway, so things go on. The three of them are there. Margot goes to some counselor thing for her eating thing, disorder. I forget what the disorder is called, so don't judge me for that. But like, anyway, it comes down to it, and then basically Dylan and Allison or Lennon have sex. Finally, it's about time we had some more sex in this show. We haven't had to see the dad, but have sex with the. Chief of police, a reasonably attractive woman, but still, it's like, do we need this? I mean, the father's basically telling his daughter to act like his other daughter who's dead, so he's already not the best father of the year, father of the year, and frankly, the mom for Margot isn't too good either. So yeah, Not a lot of good parenting in this thing. Because you know that I do that. When I know you did last summer, I remember the parents being very involved in the story. It's very, very involved. Very, very involved. Obviously not. So, I'd say what you want about those movies. At least they, sort of made sense. Maybe not how the Hookman survived. But regardless, it's just like, as we're getting through this, I'm just like, oh my God, I think it's like 8 episodes altogether. And it's just like, okay, how's this going to tie up? They're going to reveal that Dylan was the killer, right? Dylan's the killer, So, and Margot keeps pointing to it, but then she's figuring out. And then, oh, by the way, yeah, Allison admits that she's Allison. After she has sex with this guy. After pretending for all these months, or whatever, how long it is, that she was her sister. The same sister that he slept with, because he got drunk and drugged and all that shit. Which is a great message, by the way. But, like, he was still stupid regardless. Sleep with her. But, drugged and drunks, taking advantage, great. So, not quite as bad as the missed thing with that thing, but not far off, guys. Kind of unconsensual, but sort of consensual, but not. It can happen the other way, too. Anyway, so, sorry for the rambling rants there. Have some sip. Okay, so, back to me. Yeah, so we get into this whole thing, and then Margot's like, oh, take her laptop and all that stuff. And I stole her laptop here. Why don't you see what's going on? And I think she's starting to suspect that she's Allison as well. So anyway, we get to this point where they go, her mom shows up, was supposedly dead, but her dad lied to her, of course, because he's a piece of shit dad. Because she is a member of the cult, and she said, I'm abandoning my daughters for this cult because they're my real family, and da-da-da. What the fuck? So anyway, she ends up dead, and we think that Margot's been captured. But surprise, Margot's the fucking killer. Margot's the fucking killer. The self-obsessed TikTok Mabon displaying person is the fucking killer. Okay, questions number 1. Why'd you kill the fucking chef? I'm so upset about the chef, okay? The chef did nothing wrong. What, did he give you food poisoning? That's so wrong. All right, number 2. I understand we have to have some suspension of disbelief here. Like I said, I've seen Scream 4 with Emma Roberts. And yeah, there's times you're like, how the hell did I, But, so I'm willing to go some kind of suspension of disbelief. And this is nothing against the actress herself. I said, I liked her in Light as a Feather. She was in Scream the series as well. I liked her in that okay. She's not a bad actress. Really, the acting wasn't terrible. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't terrible. It was watchable, But, like, how do you go from being a media influencer to murdering several people, including your friends? Killing a cop, killing a chef who did nothing, killing your supposedly gay best friend and his lover. Somehow she overpowered him with a weight. And also this trap with the mom, Riley's mom gets, her neck's basically choked out. And somehow she set a trap when she watched something on YouTube, a tutorial or something. I mean, what the fuck? Anyway, she stabs our main character in the stomach. And then Dylan, who had been knocked out, comes to and says, hey, they fight for the gun. He's got the gun on her. And then, of course, the cop walks in because gotta love that. I've never seen this scene before, ever, where the cop comes in and is seeing the wrong person with the fucking gun. Sometimes they just automatically shoot the person. But no, instead, with this knife in her stomach, basically Margot's like, I love you. You know I love you. And before she stabs her and all that, she says the same thing to her. You've been one there for me. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, well, maybe if you told Dylan the truth, he wouldn't have reacted the way he reacted. Wherever his issues are with the whole cult thing, it doesn't seem like the cult people are actually killing people. They just are taking dead bodies and putting bugs in them or something, and honey for some reason. It's a weird thing. The cult thing was completely pointless. So it's like, okay, so yes, guess what? The cop asks her who did it, and she points to Dylan. The person who just stabbed you. And you're going to go with them. And this is a popular choice. This is the choice you're going to make. Because you remember in Halloween when, Laurie Strode has got Michael Myers attacking her and Loomis comes in and then, she just, says, yeah, go ahead, Myers, kill him. That's my brother. How are you going to do that shit? I mean, he shouldn't know his brother yet, but, remember that? Yeah, totally. Or, Nancy, like, here, Freddie, go ahead and kill my dad. I'll go with you, Freddie. The fuck? She just fucking stabbed you in the fucking stomach. Are you fucking kidding me? And the thing that pisses me off the most, you know what? If you wanted to have Dylan be the killer, fine. If you wanted to have Allison be the killer, or her sister be the killer, fine. Even if you want to have Margot be the killer, make her character a little bit more fucking obvious. Maybe not red herring, but like a little better developed to be believable, for one thing. At least with Emma Roberts, I believe that she was fucking out of her goddamn mind. With Margot, I just thought she was a self-obsessed, person that wanted to be in front of the camera. God, I hate people who want to be in front of the camera all the time. Awkward. Anyway, back to me. I'm very caffeinated. Sorry about that. I've been wanting to rant about this since last week. So I've been waiting all week to do this rant. So anyway, we ended off things. Dylan goes to prison because of course, he had her laptop. So Margot set him up, to kind of take the fall. Because he's a white man. Get that white man out of here. Just saying it is what it is, guys. I'm not one of those people like, oh, it's not like that. But it's like, oh, look, the white man's villain. Something fresh and exciting. But like, yeah. There were ways to do this stuff. And then at the end or whatever, like, he's in prison, but looks like he's reading this stuff to get some cult members. And then Riley wakes up from her honeydew thing in a freezer. Don't know if she's alive or what's supposed to be happening there. And then the two of them are standing on a cliff. Looks like it's above a canyon or something like that. I think this was it in Florida or something? I don't know where the fuck. Who cares? But like, they're standing above a cliff and Margot's like, never leave me. I'm like, never. I'm like, what the fuck happened? You couldn't even stand this girl. And then until she faked being the girl that you were in love with, and you were totally in love with Dylan head over heels until he slept with your sister, but then you slept with him too, but then you got all mad because he didn't fucking acknowledge the fact that you fucking lied to him this entire fucking time. And it's like, oh, I'm growing as a person. No! You're being a fucking asshole. You let your dad fucking manipulate your ass to freaking goddamn lie about your dead sister. Just to cover his ass too, because he dropped her on the fucking side of the road, by the way. Worthless dad. And the dad sucks. And the mom, how do you not fucking know your daughter's fucking murdering people? How the fuck do you not know? Come on now. It's like, and literally when I saw them on the cliff, I just wanted to run up and push them both off. I'm like, I hate these fucking characters. I fucking hate them. I want them to die. And that's not the message you should have, guys. Because what they phrase it is, they make it seem like they're the fucking heroes. I mean, the idea is that they're toxic, obviously. Because when they have these flashback scenes, you almost look like Allison purposely pushes the pedal down to run her sister over. So I guess that's what they're trying to acknowledge, that they're both awful people and they deserve to be together. And that's great. Except for the fact... What? No disk storage right now. Shut up. Except for the fact that Dylan just goes away from prison for nothing. He didn't kill anybody, as far as you can tell. So why is he going to prison? Oh, because, the laptop, and because he's kind of creepy and weird and in a cult. But this other bitch stabbed you in the stomach, and you don't fucking turn her in. I don't give a shit if there was a relationship there. If my wife suddenly came in here and stabbed me in the goddamn stomach, that relationship would be over no matter how I felt about her. Because she stabbed me in the fucking stomach! But it's the same problem that I had with, there's this movie, We Care a Lot. It had the woman who was in the movie with Ben Affleck, not Gone Baby Gone, it was the Gone Girl. The girl played the Gone Girl was in this movie called We Care a Lot, where she was scamming these old people and forcing them to be in the old folks' homes and selling their homes. Truly an awful person. But she had a lesbian lover and stuff like that, which, okay, whatever, that's not so bad. But then they also had Peter Dinklage, who was a gangster, and so they try to make them the heroes. Like, oh, this is heroic what they're doing. Like, no! They're scamming old people. These are awful people. And it's the same problem I have this. And I looked up the showrunner. She's only worked on a couple of things like Gossip Girl and shit like that. So, okay, there's your quality there. Probably shouldn't be writing a horror. And it's just like, why do these people just think that relationships that aren't straight cannot be toxic? I've known plenty of friends of the LGBT plus community who have been in toxic relationships. Abusive relationships. But in Hollywood, by God, the only abusive relationships you can have is if it's a straight white man, especially. If If you're a straight white man, you're an abusive asshole. But the lesbian woman who stabs you in the fucking stomach, oh no, it's cool, let's go out. Yeah, I'm sorry about stabbing you in the stomach and all. That's okay, I ran over my sister with a car. But that's what pissed me off about it so much. It's like, no, you're not phrasing this like, oh, these bitches are going to get their comeuppance. Because you can have unlikable characters, don't get me wrong. I mean, you think about something like Heathers or Pretty Little Liars. You go into this movie like, or in the show, like, okay, yeah, these people are awful, but we're kind of laughing with them. Heathers has a lot of quotable lines where you're like, this is kind of fun. You know, there's a lot of memorable lines in that. Pretty Little Liars are kind of like Heathers if they were the people killing people. So it's like, it's not perfect either, but like, there's a reason. If you want to have unlikable characters, that's fine. Dylan was not barely. Dylan was okay, but like, and Riley wasn't too bad. But most of these characters are so fucking unlikable. The dad is completely unlikable. The police chief is completely brainless. I liked the chef, and they killed him. So, fuck you for killing the chef. Justice for the chef. But like, I'm so glad this got canceled, guys. This is the worst thing since The Mist. It's just. Why? They used the name. That was all they did. They used the name I Dare You Did Last Summer to get a bunch of people to watch their show. They didn't do anything fun with it. They didn't do anything really original with it. They just slapped a title on it to get you to watch a show. And I'm truth be told, even when I heard about it at first, I wasn't interested. But it was just one of those things. I had Amazon. I'm like, I guess I'll watch this shit. Why not? I'm just staying up till I wake on up at 5. So fuck it, I'll just stay, And oh my God, to be so enraged, I swear, it's only a few shows have gotten me that way. I'd rather watch the entire run of She-Hulk again before ever having to lay my eyes on this piece of shit show ever again. And I hope you guys do not watch it, guys, because it is fucking terrible. I'm not telling you what to like or not like. Everybody likes what they like. I found it terrible and insulting. And you know what? No matter what you think about the movies, I guarantee you, a third movie with Freddie Prinze and Jennifer Love Hewitt and the Hookman will still be far better than this piece of shit series. And everyone who's involved, just like, please, not the actresses, but like showrunners, please learn how to write fucking actual drama. Don't do horror if you don't know how to do fucking horror. Because all it was an oversexed mess, messy characters that did not really have much development, did not have much depth, despite what the actress says in an interview. Like, oh, I'm really these well fleshed out characters. Really? I kind of missed that in those 8 episodes, those fleshed out characters you're talking about. But hey, each their own, whatever. As I said, I have nothing against the actresses or actors that are involved. Hey, you're making a thing, you're doing a thing, you think it's a good project. That's fine. I thought it sucked. And, just like, it's the same problem with like Ryan Murphy stuff sometimes, where you portray this absolute toxic shit or this overabundance of sex or overabundance of talking about sex. And it's just like, look, sex is a thing. Lots of people have it. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I'm a happily married man. All good. Point being is that, like, but you don't need to overdo it, guys. You don't need to overly talk about it. I don't think it's... I think it's really classless to talk about it. To talk about the dirty things you do in the bedroom. I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. I don't care if you're straight or gay or whatever. I don't want to hear about that shit. Stop writing that shit in the fucking shows. It's like, I don't want to hear that shit. Just keep it to your fucking self. I keep my shit to myself. I let you keep your shit to yourself. How about that? It's like, love is fine. Romance is great. That's fine. Have that. Have a ball. I'm not even saying you can't have sex scenes. I'm just saying, my God, stop being so gratuitous with it and thinking you're being so edgy and shocking, because you're not. It's just, So yeah, I'll put this on the, we'll put this on the list along with We Care a Lot and Miss the Series and probably season 10 of American Horror Story as far as things that really pissed me off and felt like I wasted my time. I haven't even watched season 10, season 11, whatever it is. I haven't even watched that. I just heard it was a gay serial killer, and I was like, okay, well, you just did Dahmer, and you're kind of on that kick, so okay. It's good that Zachary Quinto was in it, but he's good. I like him. But I saw, like, the killer, which was Big Daddy, and he looked like either a member of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome or a member of the Demolition Tag Team, and I was like, that's just fucking hilarious. I may watch it at some time or hate watch it at some point, but yeah, it's just, and I don't think Ryan Murphy's uncreative or untalented. Now we've got no rant on Ryan Murphy. And like I said, I wish nothing but the best for everyone who was involved in the show. I hope they go on to make much better things. More things like Light as a Feather. That was a good show. I liked it on Hulu. That was a solid show. But like, this was not something I'd want to keep on my resume. I'd be like, yeah, I did it for the paycheck. Or I was getting my start, and that's the best thing I could do at this time. Because I'm not usually one to say, this is embarrassing, you should be ashamed to be involved, but man, I would be ashamed to be involved. It's just like, what the fuck? Talk about missing the fucking mark. It's like, I would have rather just had the hookman show up, fuck it. Or have the lady be the hookman, I don't care. Just like, or at least if you're going to do something original with it, like, do something more original with it. Or have the cult be the part of it. Instead of a completely red herring waste of fucking time and episodes and pouring people in honey and shit. What the fuck was that? And killing an innocent chef. You killed an innocent chef, and that pissed me off. He had nothing to do with this shit. He's not part of your friend group. Anyway, sorry, I'm just really upset about the chef. He was a nice guy who gave them lots of good food. How dare they kill him? Anyway. Okay, guys, sorry for the rant and segues and other things to rant about. Like I said, I have no problem with any kind of sex or relationship being betrayed, whatever, whether it's straight or LGBT, whatever, that's fine. Just write it well. Write it well and realistically and not overly sexed all the time. We've seen these characters 100 fucking times, these type of things, whether it's over-sexed. We don't need that all the time. Sometimes you can just have a nice romantic relationship where they get along and they have a good time, like normal fucking people. Not everything is about some like wild sexcapade. Not everybody's out there having wild sex all the fucking time with random people all the time. That's not how life works all the time. Let's get to people who actually just have a fun, loving relationship that you actually like to follow and are interested in. Just a thought, Hollywood. Just a thought. But yeah, I'm glad at least I wasn't really the bad guy. He may have been sent to jail, but he wasn't truly the bad guy. It was the woman. So I'll give you credit for that. Just her victim that she stabbed shouldn't have fallen in love and gone with her. But hey, we all have our problems, right? All right, guys, cool. So I will be back a little bit with my pitch for the follow-up to Part 5, The New Beginning. And as the rule goes with that, I have to follow what they did. So that should be fun and interesting to travel down. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. And like I said, I'll be back with some pitches and maybe some more stuff. I still have to get Anna to watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever and Eternals because she wants to do the ranking thing too. Because I mentioned something about this being my channel. She's like, what do you mean? It's our channel. I'm like, well, you're barely on it. So she did do the thing with movies at the end of the year. So, she chimes in. I said, well, just start your own channel. But no, it's fine. It can be our channel. That's fine. Also, we'll have sketches tomorrow. If you ever check out Adam and Anna, look up Adam and Anna. I'm not going to link it because I'm lazy. But look up Adam and Anna. We have a lot of sketches on there. We're at 89 subscribers over there. We're going to win at 90. Hopefully get to 100 by the end of the year. That'd be cool. And let's keep growing the stack base here. Stack base? Fan base. That's what I was trying to say. Stack base is something I do at work. So, I'm going to shut the hell up now, guys. I'm going to wrap this video up. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought about the series. Maybe you liked it. Maybe you thought it was absolutely wonderful, and I'm a total jerk for not liking it. I don't know. Hopefully you did not like it. But if you did, that's cool. People can like what they like and don't like. There's things that I like that I know people think suck. Or, I've had a friend that hated Beastmaster, and I thought it was great. But everybody has their taste. All right, guys. Have a good night.